There's way more to clashes in fighting games than I first realized. At first it seems pretty simple, right? Two attacks get activated at the same time and then something happens. But that something isn't universal for every game. Once you start looking across the genre, it becomes clear there isn't just one way to deal with clashes. Which makes sense because every game is different. They want the mechanic to reflect their design philosophy and the type of game they want to create. In some cases, clashes are handled in a very simple way that keeps the match flowing smoothly. You'll see that in a lot of fast-paced anime games. And in other cases, they might involve additional rules, special properties, or even entire systems built around the clash itself. Pretty complicated for what is usually a small moment in a fighting game. Some games even include multiple types of clashes depending on the situation, or the type of attack being used. So today, we're going to go through several of the different ways fighting games deal with clashes, and look at how these systems work in practice. And if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure to subscribe. At its most basic form, a clash is when the hitbox of two attacks collide on the same frame, but don't hit any hurtboxes because the moves themselves cancel each other out. That's why this is a clash and this is a trade. They look similar, but only in one scenario there's damage being taken. Trades also don't always have colliding hitboxes. It's just about the hurtboxes getting hit at the same time, whereas clashes will always have overlapping hitboxes. I know that sounds kind of confusing, but just to go over this quickly, what I mean by hitbox is the active part of the move. This box determines what can actually hit you in a fighting game, or in a lot of games in general. Because as you know, attacks don't always line up with the animations for balance reasons. And a hurtbox determines what actually connects with the hitbox and makes you take damage, which will also change shape independently of animations, again for balance reasons. But in terms of knowing when a clash happens versus some regular trade, there's usually a distinct sound or visual effect to highlight the difference, which is important to know because trades lets you do things like trade combos, continuing the damage afterwards. The first type of clash is what I already showed you, neutral recoil. This is the most straightforward and easy to understand outcome. In this situation, both characters are pushed away from each other after entering a brief recoil animation. This creates a gap large enough where neither player can take an advantage, essentially resetting you back to neutral. Well, with an asterisk, because if it happens in the corner then the person closest to it will stay there. Sure, the opponent might not be close enough to take advantage of this, but I wouldn't exactly call it neutral. Games like Street Fighter 6 and Soul Calibur 4 both have this type of clash. Although from what I've seen it's pretty rare in Street Fighter, because the only clashes I can think of other than supers or fireballs is from Drive Impact. However, the clash system in Soul Calibur is a bit more complicated and has a whole variety of clashes that can happen. Again, there is mutual recoil clashes in the game, but you can also clash with different types of attacks. It's a sword-based fighting game series, so they have three main ways to attack: horizontal, vertical, and kicks, which are non-weapon attacks. We don't have to worry about those because they can only trade. The light, medium, and heavy versions of horizontal attacks have a clash value of 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Vertical attacks are +1 on all of those, so you can kind of see which attack beats what. Vertical attacks will always win if they are the same level or higher, but something like a heavy horizontal attack will beat a light or even clash against a medium vertical attack. So then what happens when an attack wins a clash? Well, it depends on by how much. If the difference is 1, the higher move will not recoil back, which gives them frame advantage. If it's 2 or more, you get a counter hit. The move just wins outright, there's no clash there. So players will set up sequences so that even if they clash, they can still be in somewhat of an advantage. Another common clash type is a clash cancel. Instead of recoiling back, the two attacks will cancel each other out and continue as if both attacks whiffed. When a clash like this happens, you don't have to wait for the recovery to finish. It can be cancelled into another move, allowing risky attacks like DPs to be instantly cancelled into something with faster recovery. Or if you're really evil, you can cancel it into another DP. A big reason why this type of clash is seen in so many anime fighters is because of this company right here. ArcSys loves their clash cancels. I haven't played all their games, but it feels like they have it in every game. Someone let me know if that's the case. But even though they helped popularize it, a series called Asuka 120% pioneered it along with a ton of other mechanics commonly used in anime fighters. Asuka 120% is a Japanese fighting game series that features a cast of schoolgirls. Classic Japan, I guess. Apparently this is like a rich private kid school, and every year all the clubs participate in a martial arts tournament, and whoever wins gets a budget increase. A pretty evil way to manage school finances if you ask me, forcing kids to fight each other to get a budget increase. Then again, I guess it's on par for something rich people would come up with, so. Anyways, clash canceling honestly fits perfectly in anime fighters because of how volatile they are. Not only can you just keep clashing until something lands, but it can also happen at any point. So sometimes you can be in an unfavorable position in the air and just lose outright, or get lucky and be in the right position to take advantage of it. It's very much a toss-up, and definitely far from neutral. But I guess the chaos makes it neutral in a way, because both players are scrambling, so I guess it's how you look at it. But even though clash cancels can lead to scramble situations, Guilty Gear Xrd had an even more chaotic mechanic called Danger Time, where if two attacks clashed, a 3-second countdown would appear, and after it goes off, all hell breaks loose. The damage is increased by 20%, and every hit you land in neutral is counted as a mortal counter, which is basically a counter hit on steroids, allowing for even more powerful combos. If this gets activated, you better win the clash and get the first hit, or else this happens. Take note of the health bars, by the way. This is basically round start.
Oh, danger time. Danger
All right, this
time.
is scary.
Oh, this
Oh
is
my
dangerous
God.
time. Danger time.
Oh.
This is so. Oh my God.
That's it.
That was the
How
most.
fast was that?
I didn't even take a breath.
Continuing the trend of game-specific clashes, the Injustice Clash is a classic that many of you probably know. In this case, clashes are used defensively because you can only activate them after the loss of your first health bar and while you're in a combo. When this happens, you and your opponent wager an amount of your super meter to win. In the first Injustice, you can't see how much your opponent wagers, but I think they changed that. But you still kind of have to gauge how much they would put up based on how much meter they have. Another thing that makes this a defensive mechanic is the fact that the effects are only applied to the person who initiated it, regardless of the result. If you win, you gain health proportional to the amount of meter you won by, and if you lose, that amount becomes the amount of damage you take from the clash, which can kill you if you're low enough. So yeah, most of the risk is on the initiator, which makes sense because they activated it while getting hit by a combo in the first place. This adds an interesting layer of meter management because you can save yourself from checkmate situations if you know your opponent already spent their meter, because then you'll win the clash. Also, say your opponent has a lot of meter and you want to take it away from them, you can maybe force a clash and try to get them to spend it early. Last but not least, I couldn't include a sword fighting game without including the classic power struggle clash that you see in a lot of media. You know the ones I'm talking about. The main villain and hero have their final battle, and both their blades lock when they hit each other, but you can also do that in Samurai Showdown. They actually translated the whole power struggle thing really well, because when both blades lock, whoever mashes faster wins the clash, really making it feel like you're overpowering your opponent. In this case, your reward for winning the clash is disarming your opponent. They no longer have a weapon, which is really important in this game. It makes your normals worse, and trying to pick it up leaves you vulnerable, and you lose access to a ton of specials too. Out of all the ones I showcased today, this one is probably my favorite just because of how interactive it feels, but I will say if I were to go against this on a lagging opponent, I don't think I would have much fun. You would be mashing for a long time, and I don't know how many of those inputs would actually get read. But out of all of them, which clash was your favorite? And if there are any that you think I should have mentioned, let me know in the comments. I know Soul Calibur has another clash-specific mechanic that I didn't mention. It's called Reversal Edge, and it puts you in an RPS situation with way more options than just rock, paper, scissors. But that series also did have its own blade lock, but it worked a bit differently than just mashing. But yeah, let me know if you think anything else should have been included. As always, make sure to like and subscribe, check out the second channel, join my Discord, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.